We're taking some leftovers and turning them into something new. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tamer. Today's video, we're going to be turning 3 leftover ingredients and making them into something new that I can feed my family. Using leftovers is a great way to help stretch your food budget, not have food waste, and still have delicious meals for your family. So I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and get cooking. First up, we've got turkey casserole or turkey pot pie, whatever you want to call it. This is one of these ones that's going to be perfect to use up some of your leftover turkey from the holidays. Now, you can do this one, of course, with some leftover chicken. If you have like leftover shredded or rotisserie style chicken, you can do this as well. We're just going to pair that with a can of cream of mushroom soup. I've got a can of mixed vegetables, some sour cream, and then if you have leftover like dressing or stuffing from Thanksgiving, this would work as well. Or you can just use a box of stovetop. I'm just using one of my own homemade vacuum sealed things of the stovetop stuffing. So I just went ahead, cut up my turkey, I just seasoned that, and then we're going to go ahead and dump everything in. I drained my can of vegetables. We're going to add in the sour cream, the can of cream soup, give everything a good mix, and we're just going to get that put in a greased casserole dish. I'm just going to smooth that out, and then we're going to top it with our prepared stuffing mix. Of course, you could change up the topping. You could use pie crust, crescent rolls. You could use Ritz crackers and butter mixture on top. Anything would be really good for this. I just wanted to try out that can of stuffing mix that I had made. In case you missed that video, I made the semi-homemade stuffing in a jar. I'll have that video linked down below. I did go back to that video after I tried this, and I made an adjustment on like in the description box that we thought that it was over seasoned, and so I did make a note of that on that video. So whenever I make this again to keep stocked in my pantry, I'm going to do half the seasoning with the same amount of breadcrumbs, and I think it's going to turn out perfect for my family. But I just baked this at 350 for 30 minutes. And here is what it looks like when it was all done. This was so good, a perfect way to use up some leftovers and turn it into something new. Next up is Frito pie. This one ended up being my personal favorite out of this video. Now this one was a 2-for-1 for me because I actually had some taco meat that I needed to use up, and I also had some Fritos that were in the bottom of the pantry, and they were actually quite a few months out of date. I did open them, of course, each bag, taste tested them, make sure that they weren't stale or anything, and they weren't. They were all still good to go, crunchy chips. And that's one of the things, like, I'm not going to waste food if I don't have to. Just because it's out of date doesn't mean that it's bad. So don't just throw food away. That's one way too that is going to help you with food waste and you know, even like food costs, because you know, I buy from my local discount stores, and I buy a lot of food that's out of date, and I get it super cheap. And so, you know, just because something says that it's out of date, open it, taste test it, check it out, make sure, don't just throw it away. You know, you could potentially be throwing away good food that you can feed your family. I'm going to go ahead and get everything mixed together. I've got my taco meat there in that bowl. I'm going to go ahead and add in that can of tomato soup. Now the recipe that I will have linked down below, I just roughly followed because I was just using ingredients that I had in the house, and so a few things I did change, but I will have the original recipe that I found linked down below for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and add in that can of chili beans, and then I'm going to add in the can of tomatoes. Now, since I didn't have a can of Rotel, I went ahead and just used the diced chili ready tomatoes, and as you can see, I did blend those up a little bit, just that way I knew Winston would eat it better without seeing the big chunks of tomatoes. But of course, if you have a can of Rotel, or if your family likes chunks of tomatoes, then you wouldn't have to puree it. But it's your kitchen, your rules, you cook how you know your family's going to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that together. We're going to get that put in the bottom of a greased casserole dish. Next, we will top it with our cheese, and then we will top that with our Fritos. You will bake this at 350 for 30 minutes. And here's what it looks like when it was all done. This was so good. I will definitely be making this again, regardless if I have just leftover taco meat or if I just want to make this as is, because it was really delicious. We served it with some sour cream, some cheese on top with some extra chips. Last but not least is French toast bake. This one turned out amazing. I will make sure to put the recipe that I roughly followed down below. Y'all know I don't follow recipes to a T, but I had some leftover Sister Schubert rolls from Thanksgiving that needed to be used up. We actually ended up having 2 of those bags. So the other bag I dehydrated, and then some of these I used for this casserole. It was so good. So to go along with it, you're also going to need some salt, some butter, some eggs, some brown sugar, some flour. You're also going to need some milk, some heavy cream, and some regular sugar, some cinnamon, and vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and get my bread torn up into pieces. I'm just going to fill that bowl. I'm just doing a 8x8 casserole dish, so I just kind of used my judgment on how much I would need. Now we're going to go ahead and mix together our egg mixture. We've got our milk, our cream, our eggs. We're also going to add in our sugar, vanilla, and our cinnamon. We're just going to mix that together and put that to the side. Now we're going to mix together our crunch topping, which is flour, some brown sugar, some cinnamon, and some butter. You're just going to mix that together with a fork till it's well combined, and then we will put that on the top once we get everything mixed together. We've got our French toast topping made, our egg mixture, and our breadcrumbs ready to go. Now we're going to assemble. I'm going to go ahead and add the bread into the bottom of a greased 8x8 casserole dish, and then we're going to coat it with our egg mixture. I did take a fork and just kind of like pushed it down. That way I knew everything was coated well in the eggs. And then we are going to top that French toast crunch mixture on top. I just kind of like took it in pieces and spread it evenly as I could on top of that bread and egg mixture. I baked this at 350 for about 30 to 40 minutes. It's just going to depend on how thick it is. If you use like a bigger 9x13 or an 8x8, it's just going to depend. Here's what it looks like when it was all done. You guys, this was so good. I absolutely love having leftover bread and rolls because you can turn them into the best bread pudding. This was so good. I topped it with some powdered sugar and some syrup, and it was a 10 out of 10. I really hope today's video gave you guys some meal inspiration, some new ways to use up those leftovers and turn them into something new for your family. Right now, we are just trying to eat super cheap, and using up leftovers is a great way to do that, to stretch your food budget. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.